Speaking of him, José Ramírez and Aaron Judge, neither were him in their opening round of the playoffs. Jose hit 188. Judge hit even worse, 154 against the Royals. Guardians need Jose, as Jay, you mentioned earlier, to play like José Ramírez, the MVP candidate, if they're going to beat the New York Yankees in the ALCS. Jason Bull, do you agree with that assessment from Jay?
Probably. Listen, you never know. It's baseball. You can't say that with 100% certainty. But sure, he's their most important player. But, if Jose struggles and Judge struggles, well, then both teams' best
it's
players
like a wash
struggling.
at that point.
Yeah, so I'm not going to say, well, if he has a bad series, they have no chance to win. That's baseball. It's not like, well, if LeBron struggles, there's no way the Cavs are going to win. Sure,
Right.
of course.
Right.
But in baseball, you never know. But yes, it's a massive disadvantage for the Guardians if Jose does not have a big series.
If Judge starts 0 for 3, he'll be booed in his fourth at-bat. That's just a fact.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, we've seen it.
Yeah.
We've seen his struggles in
Which
the
is
playoffs,
nuts.
and we've seen the Yankees fans boo him. José Ramírez is not getting booed.
No.
He's just not.
Nope.
He gets all the grace in the world. Aaron
Yeah.
Judge gets that much of a leash. And so here's the problem with that. If he does struggle, then the Yankee crowd becomes our best friend. Boo him.
Yeah.
Put him in a dark place. I'm all for that. So I do think that there is an advantage that the Guardians get, even if they both struggle, because Judge is going to be gripping more than Jose does. I do think that Jose, I'm just not judging on results. I try to do that whenever I can. It's hard sometimes because the results overweigh everything that you see. But I don't see Jose having bad at-bats since game one. He looked terrible against Skubal when he chased 2 strike threes that were in the dirt. At that point, I was very, very concerned about Jose Ramírez.
A lot of people look terrible against Skubal, though.
Skubal can do that to you.
Yeah.
And the shadows were bad, too, during both of his bad swing at-bats. But since that point, even though the results aren't there, he's made a couple of great barrel-ups. Balls that were just foul. He's so amped up. How do I know that? He's pulling everything. He's in front of everything. He'll get it. He's a superstar. He'll figure it out. The guy I worry about is Josh Naylor. Because you talk about getting booed at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. I've got no faith in Naylor right now.
I don't either.
I think Ramirez is fine. I think he, like you said, I think games 4 and 5 he swung the bat well. So I think he's trending in the right direction. I got no faith in either of the Naylors. They both can't hit right now.
No.
Even when Josh Naylor's gotten on base, it's mostly been soft contact.
Yeah,
He looks even. Yeah. I know he's has
your mom given up on Josh yet?
Yeah. She's tripping on Josh Naylor.
I know this is certainly pot calling the kettle black, but Josh Naylor is in terrible shape. He looks like he's in terrible shape.
The jersey getting bigger.
I think he's even heavier than he was most of the time.
Jersey getting bigger.
He's been sloppy at first base.
He has been
I don't know if it's affecting him.
Iffy at first.
Yeah.
And he's softly popping out. Like it's not even hard contact. It's like it just almost looks like he doesn't have a good approach at what he's doing at the plate right now. Jimenez is another one.
Although he had a good, but Jimenez has been. Listen, he's a terrible offensive season, but Game 5 he played well.
He was awesome.
He had a good Game 5, and that gives me some hope going into the series, and maybe he's got a little confidence right now.
So the question is, do they need Jose to have a great series to win, or if they want a chance? Nah, man. I look at these. If games is game to game, I look at it at bat to at bat. Like it's just depending on what matchup you got on the mound, in terms of what you're looking to do as a hitter, and plus there's 8 other guys in the lineup that have to get on base that need to generate some activity. So it's like if you ain't gonna get it from Ramirez, you got to get it from Naylor. If you're not gonna get it from Naylor, you got to get it from Thomas or Fry. It's one of those things where. You can't. It's not basketball or football. You can't put it all on one guy. But it would be nice.
Yeah,
it'd be nice to be.
I'd like their chances a lot more if
be
they have
nice.
a better series. The one thing that we haven't talked about that I think deserves to be brought up is the fact that Yankee Stadium is home run park. There's more home runs hit in that stadium than any other stadium.
Right field feels like it's 250. Jay.
It's literally
it's a pop fly.
It's Williamsport.
And an interesting thing. Well, Jason, before I go, what do you think about Jose having a big series?
Well, I look at Jose and Judge. Judge, I think I just looked it up, is 760 OPS in the postseason, but 3 of his 13 home runs have come against this team. So he has done well against us with the long ball. So I mean, historically, he's not a great postseason player, but he's punished this team. So that's concerning. Jose, yeah, I think Jose's OPS is like 650 in his career, postseason wise, and he's yet to homer against the Yankees. So hopefully that changes tonight.
Yeah, we're gonna need some power. It's interesting how I had thought that mostly it was gonna have to come from Ramirez and Naylor, but Lane Thomas just loves the big stage. It's incredible how
He's
he
huge
has
for them in that series.
approached this series, and I want to give credit to Bull because there was a time this year when we had all the shovels of dirt on the Lane Thomas casket except one. We just kept saying, but he's proven that he can hit.
Mm-hmm.
And we were all poo-pooing the trade, but you kept saying, even though he's been awful, he has a track record of success. He's going to at some point revert to being who he's been on the back of his baseball card.
Yeah,
and he's
since
done
the
that.
start of September, he's been fantastic.
He's been, I think he probably was the best. He probably had the best numbers in September of all major league players.
Oh, yeah.
His September was incredible.
Right up there.
And he's carried it into October.
I mentioned this to Zach this morning. Just look at who they acquired at the deadline and how people were up in arms about
I know that
what
we didn't
little
do
they
enough.
Did. Lane Thomas, Matthew Boyd, and Alex Cobb.
Unreal.
Your game one starter against the NALCS. Boyd pitched great against the Tigers, and Lane Thomas won them the series.
Yeah.
I still would have liked
Antonelli
him.
deserves
I still
a
would have
statue.
liked them to do more. And the owner should still spend more money. But the guys they got have done well.
They hit on all of them.
It's the Guardians' mantra. We're not going to do a lot, but what we're going to do is it's going to be effective.
Their impact moves on the margins.
And we saw it in the clubhouse celebration on Saturday. And we haven't really talked a whole lot about this. It's something I mentioned in spring training. I know you saw it. There's just something about this group. It is unlike any team that I've followed closely in my entire career. I will say I thought that the year the Buccaneers won the Super Bowl, even though there were factions, Warren Sapp and Keyshawn Johnson wanted to beat each other up probably 9 out of 10 days. I thought they were a group that was really tight and they had insulated themselves from everything outside. This Guardians team, from the second Stephen Vogt brought out the slip and slide in Arizona, there's just something magical going on there. Even the veterans that have come in, the Cobbs, Lane Thomas, I think Matthew Boyd even had a similar quote. They're like, wow, I've been doing this a long time. I've never seen anything like this. They're tight-knit. They're all in it together. They want to pick each other up. When someone makes a mistake, all the other guys want to do everything they can. Stephen Kwan said something, I think, after Game 4 where he said, well, we don't want the season to end. I mean, of course we want to win a World Series, but we don't want to say goodbye to one another.
Sure, yeah.
That is unbelievable.
I was talking to Hedges about that when I was in the locker room to do the story on Gavin Williams' tip pitching. So I think that was sometime in September, and they weren't playing great.
Right.
And
early September, right?
Yeah, this might have been late August, early September. They weren't playing great, and I told him, like, listen, 3 weeks is a lifetime in baseball. Like, you have, it must have been September. Like, you had 3 weeks to right the ship. And he's like, listen, nobody in here is panicking. And he even said, like, the Rangers team that he was on last year that won the World Series went through lulls and guys started to press a little bit and grip and panic a little bit. And he's like, this team never gets rattled. They don't panic. And that's why, just going off that conversation with him and what we've seen with our own eyes, I don't think they're going to be rattled by the stage of New York. And, you know, we talked about that with the Cavs and the Knicks, and I kept saying, listen, when you go in the Garden, it's different. And sure enough, those Cavs players, they even admitted the lights were too bright, and they sort of shriveled in the moment. I don't think that will be the case. Yes, it's a young team. Yes, they haven't been overly tested. Detroit is a far cry from New York. I don't think they're going to be rattled by the moment.
Hey, listen, the Royals are in the Tigers category. They're a better team in my view.
Yeah.
But they gave New York all they wanted.
All they wanted.
They wanted.
By the way, I'll tell you something. The Tigers and the Royals are going nowhere.
No, they're going to get
Those
used
are good
to seeing them in the playoffs.
And this kid, Job, who's
He's
struggled
their
in the
number
playoffs,
2.
is going to be a hell of a
Bull,
pitcher.
I think he threw 2 innings of
Yeah.
big league baseball, and Hinch put him on a huge stage in Houston, and he did not pitch well.
No, he didn't.
And then he put him on another big stage here, and he did not pitch well. But his stuff
is nasty.
It's unbelievable.
By
So
the
they're going
way-
to have a Scooble Job 1-2.
Yeah.
One other point I want to make. This is mind-blowing to me. This may be one of the most overachieving teams I've ever seen, and here's why. I'm going to rattle off the names. Bieber, McKenzie, Carrasco, just because he was an early starter early on, Williams, and Allen threw one pitch in the Tiger series, and it was the first pitch by Carlos Carrasco. They're 5 starters early in the season.
No, well, Bybee was in one of the 5 starters.
Bybee was,
Yeah.
but I'm saying those are 5 guys that figure heavily into the Guardians' plans. McKenzie and Bieber Bieber and McKenzie were your 1 and 2. Then 3 and 4, it was like, I don't know, is it Bybee, is it Allen, is it McKenzie, or is it Williams?
Yeah.
Bybee is the only guy they broke spring training with
Yeah.
that's done anything in the postseason. That's why it's just if you would have told me that all 5 of those starters were not going to pitch in the first playoff series, I'd say, well, they must have had a nice season. They made the playoffs, but that ended fast. And here they are. It's patchwork like I've never seen before. Chris Antonetti deserves a statue.